At Mohegan Sun Arena in Uncasville, Connecticut, we welcome you to the Invesco QQQ Basketball Hall of Fame Women's Showcase. This is the second of 3 games on our air today. Earlier, Lauren Betts dominant in an impressive performance from UCLA. They take down Florida State 95-78 here at the Invesco QQQ Basketball Hall of Fame Women's Showcase. We welcome you courtside, Ryan Ruocco, alongside the Hall of Famer Rebecca Lobo. So happy to be with you for a terrific matchup here. Number 1 South Carolina, number 11 Utah. Two of the most exciting offenses in the country. Both teams plenty of weapons to choose from. When you talk about South Carolina, inside Kamilla Cardoso, so hard to deal with.
We'll certainly start with the anchors for both of these teams, and Kamilla Cardoso at 6'7", averages 14 points a game, gets to the glass so well, 11.5 boards per game. Defensively, she is a menace as well, over 3 blocks per game. She is the one who holds it down inside so well for the Gamecocks.
The numbers very impressive for Cardoso. You see averaging a double-double, projected as the number 4 pick in the WBB's mock draft by ESPN. That lottery, of course, coming up shortly on ESPN. Meanwhile, for Utah, Alissa Pili is their star.
She is really a unique talent. At 6'2", she has the ability to score, overpower bigger defenders inside. Great footwork, great hands, but she can also step out and hit the 3 at a high clip, shooting 57% from 3. Not a lot of players with her frame have the type of game she has.
Pili scores in bunches and efficiently. You take a look, she's one of 2 players in Division I with 20+ points per game and 70% shooting from the floor. As we send things over to another Hall of Famer, Holly Rowe.
Well, this University of Utah team is trying to regroup after their second leading scorer and second best assister, Gianna Neepkins, has gone out with a foot injury. She had surgery on Thursday. I'm told she's doing well, but after she went down, Lynn Roberts did something smart. In their film session, they decided to grieve the loss. There were tears, there was crying, they were so upset, but then they knew they had to move on. Lynn has asked each player to give 5% more. That is the number that Gianna wore, number 5. And Alissa Pili did that in their very next game without Gianna. She scored 14 points to start the first quarter. She was giving more. That's what they'll need today to go against this terrific South Carolina team.
Yeah, no doubt a big loss for Lynn Roberts' Utah team. And what a job Lynn Roberts has done now in her 9th season, last year's Pac-12 Coach of the Year. Remember, this is a Utah team that was on the brink of eliminating LSU in the Sweet 16, and if not for missed free throws, would have eliminated the eventual national champions. They're back even better this season thus far. And Dawn Staley, of course, a mainstay at South Carolina, has brought them unprecedented success in her 16th season now. Her school has gone to the Final Four 5 of the last 8 seasons, 2 national championships over that period of time. North Carolina, Connecticut will follow this game. Utah, South Carolina, the middle of 3 in the Invesco QQQ Basketball Hall of Fame Women's Showcase. And we are underway as South Carolina, with these awesome alternate uniforms, win the tip.
One thing to keep an eye on here, Kamilla Cardoso is being defended by Jenna Johnson, not Alissa Pili. Utah needs to keep Pili on the floor, out of foul trouble.
Pow on the reverse, flips it in. Taking a look at Utah's starting 5, the Invesco QQQ starting lineup. Inesh Vieta, only player in the nation averaging more than 7.5 assists and more than 3 steals. Nearly gave it away there. Here's Vieta, a little water bug. Backs away, can't hit the 3, but follows it up and comes up with a rebound. Here's Pili, trying to turn the corner, and does, finishing with the left hand, Alissa Pili.
That's one of the ways in which she is unique, and Kamilla Cardoso will be defending her out on the perimeter. You have to come out on Pili, shooting over 50% from 3, but has the explosiveness to do what we just saw.
You talk about the uniqueness of Pili as Kitts, who's really had a nice start to the season, hits the mid-range jumper. What's so unique, Rebecca, is if somebody's shooting over 70%, you think, okay, obviously most of their game comes on the interior. Well, Pili takes 5 to 7 threes a game. Vieta Sets up Johnson on a three, knocking it down. And that's what Utah likes to do.
Exactly right. They average 14 threes made per game. Dawn Staley said we've got to keep them off the three-point line, force them to put the ball on the floor.
They lead Division I with those 14 made threes per game. Cardoso, nice footwork from Cardoso, evading and finishing.
Yeah, really nice job. The double team came from the high side. She went baseline, finished on the other side of the rim.
Here's Young, motoring her way in, could not finish over Hall, and the rebound secured by Cardoso. Pow, pushing pace for South Carolina. Undefeated, #1 team in the nation. Kids, a long step, held the pivot, and finished.
Really nice move by Chloe Kitts to get inside and find a way to create space to finish.
Averaging double figures after averaging just 1.5 points per game last year. Vieta just speeds right inside around Cardoso for the easy two. Nash Vieta, a junior guard from Portugal. Izzy Palmer, starting point guard for Utah, still out. Has missed the last now 7 games. Cardoso patiently finishes, plus the foul, and a chance for 3 for Cardoso.
South Carolina does such a nice job of finding Cardoso inside. She spins baseline, 2 defenders there, but the ball is thrown where only she can catch it, finishes with the contact.
And it's Jenna Johnson who is whistled for the personal. So we talked with Dawn Staley before the game about Cardoso, about her season thus far, and she said, been up and down, still want her to be more dominant. Said really working on her developing a go-to move, knowing that's going to be critical at the next level. And you saw in our mock draft, Cardoso projected to be the #4 overall pick. Here's McQueen, couldn't lay it in, and the rebound Cardoso. Raven Johnson also off to an excellent start this season, and that's going to be an offensive foul as Cardoso shed Johnson. And an early personal on Kamilla Cardoso.
Now Kamilla Cardoso is going to have to play a little bit more carefully that she's picked up her first. It's hard to see there how much contact there was. I'm sure she felt like she was just posting up.
That's the plight of the player who's bigger than everybody else,
That's
right? Here's Pili. Oh, great ball fake, but then lost the handle, got it back, and rejected by Cardoso. South Carolina 5 of 5 from the floor in the early going. It's a South Carolina team that graduated 5 key players who were drafted to the WNBA as Kitts misfires. Playing a very different style, but they have not skipped a beat. Pili connects on a deep 3.
So far in this game, Utah has done a good job of not allowing South Carolina to get out in transition, where they have been absolutely lethal this year, yet South Carolina is still making tough shots.
Pow can't hit the 3. Here is Vieta. Pushing pace for Utah. Vieta blurring underneath the hoop. Pili thought about it. This time Cardoso sticks out a paw. Cutting around, the layup is good for McQueen on a nice handoff from Pili.
You're seeing early on the philosophy of Utah offensive basketball, and that is to take threes or take layups, nothing in between. They've been effective with that so far here in the first quarter.
Lynn Roberts, very analytical in her style. It's all about paint 2s or just outside the paint as Cardoso finishes again, or 3s. Does not want long 2s at all, which we know, of course, is very much in vogue with today's style of basketball, especially at the pro level. But Lynn Roberts really has emphasized that probably more than any other program at the collegiate level.
We've seen Utah already miss 2 relatively open layups.
Kitts dumps it down. Cardoso dishes out. Pow's 3 is good. Nice movement there.
Credit Cardoso, too, because for her to kind of regain her balance, she had 3 defenders on her to find Pow and deliver the ball where it could be easily shot.
How about Pow? 53% from 3 this season, number 11 in Division I. McQueen looking for the handoff, gets it to Young. Young, some space, lays it in.
When you have a team full of three-point shooters on the floor, it creates space for those drives that we are seeing.
And Utah always has 5 three-point shooters on the floor. That is going to be a charge. Pow whistled for the personal. Good action early in Mohegan Sun. Timeout on the floor. Well, you heard Rebecca talking about it. Utah wants to hoist threes, paint shots and threes, and they have hit a couple early. Pili and Johnson, they always have 5 3-point shooters on the floor at once as we send things over to Holly.
Well, Lynn Roberts has used a lot of analytics. She gets it from the NBA, so every player after their game will get what is called a smart sheet. She doesn't even tell them the real stats, only the stats she cares about. You only can shoot from zone 3. If you try to shoot in zone 0 or zone 1, you get an air horn at practice, like a that's a bad shot. It's totally reinforced. And today, look where the shots are coming from. Only in zone 3. That gets a cowbell, which is tinkle, tinkle, tinkle. Very nice. I did have goals to have those apparatus here with me today, but I didn't get them in time, so I'm sorry.
You know, Holly got in tinkle, 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 and apparatus in one report.
Yeah, I'm glad you don't have the apparatus, because a bullhorn over the microphone might be a problem. Holly's been to enough Utah practices. I wonder if they let her hold the bullhorn.
Wow, that's a really good question.
I wouldn't.
Watkins into the game, turns, got fouled, and will shoot 2. A personal called on Samantha Crisp into the game for Utah. Crisp in off the bench as Pili gets a breather. We also have Madison Wilk into the game for Utah. One of the players that Lynn Roberts highlighted to us who's going to have to step up with the injury to Neepkins.
One shot. Players one.
Watkins hits the second. Ashlyn Watkins, sophomore forward. And there is Malaysia Fulwiley, one of the most electrifying players in the nation. Hear the applause for her, the number 13 overall recruit of this year's class. She introduced us to her outstanding play in Paris with a highlight for the ages. Here's Crisp. Separating is McQueen. Her 3 is short, and Watkins secures the rebound. Raven Johnson nearly lost it, able to control. Johnson separates and knocks down the mid-range.
That was a tough shot. Able to elevate and hit it.
Raven Johnson has done a great job getting her own and distributing this season for South Carolina. Get ahead to Fulwiley, shovels to Watkins, easy 2.
Fulwiley in the game. Now we see South Carolina getting out in transition. It's going to be the thing for Utah on misses to make sure they get back defensively.
21-14, South Carolina leads it. They're 9 of 11 from the floor in the early going. Here's Vieta. Bounces to the corner. Vieta will fire a 3 off the mark, boxed out by Johnson. Fulwiley wide open, connects on a 3. Timeout Utah. An 8-0 South Carolina run.
South Carolina, possibly the most dangerous team in transition this season. A lot of it due to Malaysia Fulwiley. The right decision, the pass to Watkins, and then she gets it back herself in secondary. Instant impact.
So an 8-0 run from South Carolina as Fulwiley sets up an opportunity in transition and knocks down a 3. One of the dynamic freshmen that we see just really captivating the nation early on during this college basketball season.
Whenever she has the ball in her hands, you're just thinking, what is she going to do next? What excitement.
Pili back in the game and immediately lays it in.
Yeah, the South Carolina 8-0 run happened with Pili had, what, 90 seconds on the bench?
Right. Fulwiley has it knocked away. Going to stay here. You know, there was a couple games ago where Malaysia Fulwiley played just 3 minutes, and Dawn Staley limited those minutes because she felt like there was a lack of defensive engagement, attention that was being paid by Fulwiley. It was building to that moment, and explained to her afterwards why, and Dawn just raves about Fulwiley as a kid, which we noticed that just talking with her in Paris before her first game. What a dynamic personality she has, and really has been happy with the way Fulwiley has responded since.
Nothing gets a player's attention at any level of basketball more than taking away playing time.
Yeah.
And to help refocus and get you to do exactly what it is your coach wants you to do.
Raven Johnson called for the travel. Reese Ross, the freshman, into the game for Utah, wears number 20. Here's Pili looking to work Watkins. Pili gets denied by Watkins, keeps it in bounds, up ahead to Fulwiley. Fulwiley lost it. Vieta on the steal. 3-on-2 the other way. Vieta looking for help. Cross court, McQueen thought about the three. Instead, it's Pili deep inside. Couldn't finish it. Almost felt like she didn't realize she had some space from Watkins. And now Hall on the other end. Back iron, no. Offensive board and another chance here for South Carolina. That three is good for Wiley with her second triple of the quarter.
What an outstanding job by these bench players for South Carolina.
In the corner, that three rims out for Wilkie. So Sanaya Fagan in off the bench for South Carolina, making a difference on the offensive glass. Here's Fulwiley. Has already hit 2 threes from the right wing. Fulwiley had it poked away and into the arms of Pili. Shot clock essentially the same as the game clock. So Lynn Roberts reminding Vieta, calm down, one shot. South Carolina has turned it over 5 times, but still an 11-point first quarter lead. Oh, Raven Johnson picks the pocket and misses the layup on the other end. Vieta from half court, and that'll do it for the first quarter. South Carolina 27-16 lead after one. We will talk to Utah head coach Lynn Roberts when we get back. Malaysia Fulwiley off to a terrific start already. 2 threes in this game.
Well, Coach, you're right in this first quarter. Then South Carolina goes on an 8-0 run. What do you have to do to respond right now? What's going wrong?
Yeah, I thought we were playing great, and then we turned it over, took a couple bad shots, and that's what you can't do. And it was just bang, 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 and suddenly we were down 8 or 10 or whatever. So, I mean, they're going to make their runs, we're going to make ours. I think we got to settle down and just be as tough as we can, and not get knocked off on our heels too much, and just keep fighting.
Thank you so much, Coach.
Thank you.
An 11-2 run from South Carolina to close the quarter. And this is a test for Utah. They had not been outscored by more than 4 points in any quarter this season. Get outscored by 11 there. Their toughest matchup thus far, no doubt, the game at Baylor, their only loss yet this year. Pili with Cardoso back in. Pili bodies in, the footwork, Pili gets it to drop, she's tough.
Pili was having a harder time getting her shots off against Ashlyn Watkins than she has against Kamilla Cardoso. She's just done a really nice job of finding her way to the basket against the bigger defender.
9 points for Pili as Fagan lays it in. Besides, Fagan's given South Carolina some really good minutes off the bench. Johnson, oh, nice backdoor, but unable to handle it was McQueen as Pow Pow comes up with a steal. Here's Johnson, catch, fire, no. And the rebound secured by Utah. Deflected out of bounds, will stay here with Utah.
Talk about some of the players who've come off the South Carolina bench and just made a real difference for them already, even in this game. Malaysia Fulwiley being one of them. It's one of the reasons when you get to the second half, it's a wear down effect. South Carolina has so many bodies, nice pass inside, and can play physical and just wear teams down. Johnson should have taken the first one.
Yeah, it was wide open. Wow, that is a second foul on Cardoso. And again, it's Johnson who takes the contact, and Kamilla Cardoso is a bit perplexed.
She's running down, trying to step right into posting up, and Johnson goes down.
It doesn't look like there's a whole lot there.
It really doesn't. The fall was worse than the foul.
Yeah. 2 offensive fouls from Cardoso, and didn't look like there was a lot there on either one of them. She goes to the bench. Here's Pili spinning inside, finishing with the left hand. Pili has such strength. She may only be 6'2", but she is strong on the interior.
And uses her body so well, gets into the shot blocker, which makes it more difficult to block the shot.
Powell will settle things down. The transfer from Oregon has fit like a glove here in South Carolina. Hall, pull-up jumper is off. Rebound Johnson. Utah trying to make a push at the beginning of this second quarter. Te-Hina. Pili again, great position. The catch and the finish. Alissa Pili up to 13 points on 6 of 9 shooting. She has the last 8 for Utah.
Pili has big hands, and when the ball gets anywhere within her reach, she is very good at corralling it.
Hall's 3 won't go. Rebound Johnson. And a foul there on Watkins. Will stay with Utah.
Alissa Pili gets low and creates space. She shows her palm and just able to corral the ball using her size. Going back to the right side. Look at her frame, those broad shoulders. Makes it so hard to defend her once she gets the ball inside.
Can I put you on the spot?
How big is the spot?
Well, the spot is Pili at the next level.
It's interesting because there's not really a comp for her that I can think of.
Pili connects on a 3. 16 for Pili in this first half.
And so Lynn Roberts was talking about that with us earlier today as you see Powell take the mid-range jumper.
Pili going to get hit with a foul there, her first, as we send things over to Holly.
Well, speaking of the next level for Alissa Pili, she actually met with Lynn Roberts this summer, and they decided that they had to start really intentionally helping her develop the skills she will need on the perimeter. She's worked on her passing, her ball handling, her decision-making, and her perimeter defense. And yes, her three-point shot, which you can see, is natural and easy. She has an eye on the WNBA. It's a goal of hers, but she is very intentionally working towards that with the skills she'll need. There are a ton of GMs. Mike Tebow from Washington, Talisa Ray from Seattle, Darius Taylor from Connecticut. There are so many WNBA scouts here today, and they're getting to see this very unique player.
Well, it's interesting this morning, Lynn Roberts said, you know, some people ask, well, who's she going to defend at the next level? And Lynn says, who's going to guard her?
Yeah, right, exactly. Te-Hina can't lay it in, and then picks up a little frustration foul there, knocking down Kitts. And I guess that's, you know, part of the equation, Rebecca, as you sort of assess, okay, how does she translate?
And part of it is she's listed at 6'2". I'm not sure that she's 6'2", but it is remarkable against bigger defenders. And I don't know that there are stronger defenders, but against bigger defenders, she's still able to score.
You saw Darius sitting next to Dewana Bonner. They're getting an eye on this talent for Connecticut, and a foul here going to be called against Utah. A Tuesday on ESPN2. 22nd ranked Duke hosts Hofstra at Cameron Indoor Stadium. Tune in at 7 Eastern to catch it on the ESPN app. Foul number 2 on Pili. So Pili gets hit with her second.
Interesting because in their game against Baylor, Pili picked up 2 fouls in the first 2 minutes of the game and did not play the rest of the first half. But Lynn Roberts said we need her on the floor today for this one.
And if you're Pili, you probably have to be a little more careful than she has been with those 2 fouls. Oh, nice job to poke it over to Pili. Pili with position, lays it in, plus the foul. A chance for 3 for Alissa Pili after Kendi McQueen did a nice job to salvage the possession.
I think it's fair to revisit the question, but who can guard Alissa Pili? And here she gets it once again. And Ashlyn Watkins is a good defender who has long arms and length, and Pili just uses her size, her physicality so well. 18 already.
She's the last 13 for Utah. When you asked the question, Rebecca, who would be the comp? I can't think of one at the pro level off the top of my head who has the kind of interior skills and exterior game that Pili does with her size.
Yeah, Natalie Williams, except Natalie Williams is 6'4", so it was a little bit different.
Here's Raven Johnson. Squares up, can't finish. Kitts on the offensive glass, puts it in. Chloe Kitts up to 7 points and 5 rebounds in this first half. A 4-point South Carolina lead. Te-Hina telegraphed it. Johnson steals it and lays it in. Heard Lynn Roberts talk about it a little bit with Holly at the end of the first quarter. Hard to win if you make mistakes like that against South Carolina. Te-Hina into Pili. Guess what? 2 more.
It doesn't matter. I think that's the 3rd different defender that South Carolina has thrown at Alissa Pili, and she's still able to score.
She has the last 16 Utah points. Ooh. And that's going the other way. Another offensive foul on South Carolina.
Jenny Johnson has drawn 3 offensive fouls on the South Carolina bigs.
This one's on Sakima Walker.
Unlike the last one on Cardoso, that's absolutely an offensive foul.
And the first on Walker. Do you think they make Dawn's hoodie in my size?
Isn't it? Isn't hers in your size?
Here's Wilkie on a 3, short. Out of bounds to South Carolina.
But how about how the Utah players have been trained? Take a dribble. Oh, I'm inside the 3-point line. Step back. That clearly work on step back so that they do not take any of those long twos.
Right. Holly was talking about the air horn blowing at practice.
I so want video of her blowing the air horn at practice.
Foul on the floor, Holly.
I'm going to start blowing an air horn when I consider you two to have done a mid-range sort of thing. So just get ready for that in the second half. I'll have the air horn, and if you guys say something that's not that funny, you're going to hear it.
Right.
Fair.
What's the equivalent of an on-air mid-range jumper? A failed joke? Pow. Stepped out of bounds. And it will be Utah basketball. We'll step aside. Tight game, second quarter. Alissa Pili is up to 21 points. She scored the last 16 for Utah.
Gamecocks jumped out to an 11-point lead, but Utah just inching back in this one.
Well, the Gamecocks got into some foul trouble, and Kamilla Cardoso has been saddled to have to go to the bench. It'll be amazing to see how the Gamecocks will handle it.
She goes to the bench, Alissa Pili goes to work.
All right, gang, looking forward to hearing from that trio at halftime. Enjoyed them earlier today. The Florida State game as we send things over to Holly Rowe. That is going to be number 3 on Alissa Pili. So Pili picks up her 3rd foul and now has to go to the bench as we send things over to Holly.
Well, I'm here with former Gamecocks guard, point guard Tyisha Harris, and I'm so fascinated. This is a young South Carolina team. They lost a lot of seniors. Dawn Staley is able to grow and develop players so beautifully. She did that with you. Why is she so successful that way?
I think it's just her character. She's authentic. She's real. What you get on the trip, on the visit, is what you get when you commit there. We hold a standard, and she develops us really well. She knows our strengths and our weaknesses, and she helps us to get to the next level.
You, of course, play for the Connecticut Sun, the draft lotteries today. You and DeWanna Bonner here courtside. What is the W doing so great right now and all the excitement surrounding it?
I'm thinking just showing everybody love. I think just people in college, they're showing their love. Everybody's getting support. I think everybody's supporting the W wave now, too, and that's just good. Just get the word out about us, but it's exciting. I'm excited for next year as well, and we'll see where it comes.
All right. Great season for you with the Connecticut Sun. Can't wait to see what's next for Ty Harris. Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, Ty's head coach is in the studio today, Stephanie White. Meanwhile, Utah is going to have to try and not only navigate the final 4 minutes of this half without Alissa Pili, but she'll be closely watched in the second half, too, after just picking up her 3rd person.
Incredibly impactful 3rd foul called, and Johnson draws her 4th charge.
Wow. That one's on Fagan. Let's take a look at the foul at Pili.
Chloe Kitts defending her, the 4th different defender on her. I don't love it. I don't know that she sticks her butt out in a way that she should be called for the offensive foul. And here, just a great job by Johnson, getting between her player and the bucket.
Yeah, I agree, Rebecca. I didn't see Pili extend the hip in a way that felt unnatural.
Right, it felt like a natural reverse pivot to go into a handoff.
Right. Now, Pili picked up a couple of touch fouls early that she just has to be more mindful, I think, of her value to her team and how critical it is that she does not get in foul trouble.
Yes.
But that one, she could have a serious bone to pick with.
Yes.
Young misses the free throw.
A serious bone to pick. Would that be opposite of a funny bone? Holly, blow your horn.
I don't know who gets the mid-range horn on that, you or me.
I think I do.
So that was the first point scored this quarter by someone other than Alissa Pili, who had scored 16 straight Utah points and has 21 in the first half. Here's Kitts, dumping it down to Fagan. Fagan, great pass, cross court, getting it to Johnson. Kitts, the footwork, couldn't finish it, but gets the whistle against Reese Ross, and Chloe Kitts is going to shoot too.
Right, it's interesting. Ty Harris was talking about, what it's like to play for Dawn Staley and the standard with which she holds you to. It's interesting to me that Mylasia Fulwiley has not come back into the game. She came in, was really effective on the offensive end, but had 2 turnovers, isn't in foul trouble. But you talked about her not playing as much, and in that game against North Carolina, actually she had some defensive lapses. So interesting that she has not come back into the game.
And Dawn told us it's tough to keep talent on the bench.
Yeah.
It's tough to do, but sometimes you got to do it to create a learning experience.
Talent doesn't like it either.
No. Te-Hina hands it off. Young. Guarded nicely by Pow Pow there. Something Dawn Staley's been so happy with the defense of Te-Hina Pow Pow. Ross in all kinds of trouble and throws it away. Pow Pow on the steal. Pow Pow. And that's going to be another offensive foul. Yes. It'll be on Fagan, I believe. And that will be her second personal.
Offensive foul. You got ball on the sideline.
And now Fulwiley checks back in. So foul trouble for Utah. It's Pili with 3. Nobody else has 2. For South Carolina, Fagan, Watkins, and Cardoso all have 2.
A number of them have been drawn on their offensive end.
Here's Te-Hina looking to shed. Fulwiley could not, but a foul. And Mylasia Fulwiley confused at the call. Thought she got that block cleanly.
I thought the block was clean. I thought the body early, maybe right here, maybe that's where they were calling the foul. The body.
Yeah.
Yeah, because the block up top is clean.
Yeah, riding her with the body a little bit.
Yeah.
And so Fulwiley picks up the personal. That is her first. As Te-Hina hits the first free throw. Talking with Lynn Roberts about Te-Hina earlier today, and she said she just loves the pace and tempo she plays with, the way she brings the entire team with her with that tempo. Here's Fulwiley. Tried to shovel it underneath, could not, threw it away. Te-Hina flicks it ahead. The Queen Euros can't shovel it in. Hall was there for the contest. Fulwiley, look out behind. The Queen was creeping. Fagan, long 2. No. Long rebound. Johnson. 35-32. South Carolina leads. They led by 11 after 1. Alissa Pili had a huge second quarter, 14 points in it before picking up her 3rd foul and going to the bench. But Utah holding serve in these minutes for the moment. Johnson gets fouled by Fagan. That'll be the 3rd foul on Sanaya Fagan. And Johnson's going to go to the line to shoot 2.
Pace has been much more favorable for Utah, too, in this second quarter. South Carolina, 27 points in the first quarter, only 8 here in the second. They really made their run when the bench unit came in, was able to, off of Utah misses, really push it the other way in transition.
Johnson hits the first free throw. Well, if you're Utah and you can play decently the final minute and 21 seconds of this second quarter, you have to feel really good about the way you handled Pili being on the bench for the end of this second.
Yeah, without question. And of course, South Carolina's had Cardoso on the bench for most of the first half as well.
Cardoso has played just 7 minutes as we see Sakima Walker check back in after Fagan picked up her 3rd foul. So 2 on Cardoso, 3 on Fagan. Kicks, barrels in, and is going to draw the foul. And Chloe Kitts is going to go to the line after Deja Young gets whistled for the personal. Rebecca, how about the way Kitts has seamlessly moved into the starting lineup for South Carolina and played so far this season?
Yeah, I was going to say she has done a really nice job. A player that joined the team early last season or early because she was supposed to be a freshman this year and has done a really nice job. Was limited in her minutes a season ago, but has stepped into her role nicely. A very good rebounder. We've seen her be very effective scoring in the mid-range and free throw line.
Oh, nice job by Walker. The second chance opportunity for South Carolina. Here's Vieta, dumping it down to Johnson. McQueen can't handle it, going to stay here. Knocked out of bounds by South Carolina.
Ball goes up, nice job by Walker. It's kept alive and she stays strong and finishes inside.
Since Pili went out of this game, Utah has outscored South Carolina 4-3. Here's Vieta. Looking for separation. Vieta can't lay it in. South Carolina with numbers, 9-second difference game and shot clock of this first half. Vieta back into the picture. It does not take her long. Fulwiley will fire and hit from 3. Malaysia Fulwiley, 3 of 3 from downtown. And just like that, 6 straight points from South Carolina. Utah does not have a field goal since Pili went out of the game. Here's Johnson, 5 seconds left, and that's going to be a travel. Well, we talked about Utah getting to the finish line of this half, and South Carolina's done just enough over the final minute to probably feel a little bit better about that cushion.
Yeah, without question, and Fulwiley has been impactful again.
9 points in 6 minutes. The 3 turnovers, but she is 3 of 3 from 3-point range. And Dawn Staley with 3.5 seconds to go in this first half. Going to draw up a final play here for South Carolina.
Dawn Staley this morning was raving about her team and their ability to catch on to things quickly, their ability to learn. So it's interesting in this moment to use the timeout. All right, let's draw something up as if it's end the game and see if we can get a good look with 3.5 seconds to go.
Want to remind everybody, 4:30 today, Eastern on ESPN, the WNBA Draft Lottery. LA, Indiana, Seattle, Phoenix. Very well could find out where Caitlin Clark will be next season if she goes pro. 3.5 seconds to go in this first half. Lob into Kitts. Kitts has it poked from behind by Vieta, and that's how the first half will end. Utah had cut the 11-point South Carolina lead down to 1, but a 6-0 run from the Gamecocks to end the half. They lead by 7 at the half. 41-34 is the score as Pili puts up 21 in the first half, but has to sit at the end of it with 3 fouls. Chris Button, Carolyn Peck, Stephanie White in the studio. Coming up next after an exciting first half of basketball here at Mohegan Sun. Welcome back to the Invesco QQQ Basketball Hall of Fame Women's Showcase. Alissa Pili, 21 first half points. Malaysia Fulwiley hits all 3 threes. She takes South Carolina a 7-point lead over Utah as we get ready to start the third quarter. Hey again, everybody. Ryan Rucco alongside the Hall of Famer Rebecca Lobo. Fun first half between two of the nation's best teams. And if it wasn't for Alissa Pili, well, Utah may not be in this game. Let's take a look at the Invesco QQQ plays of the game.
Yeah, Alissa Pili was virtually unstoppable. 9 of 12 in the first half, and she's got great size, but can face the basket, is quick with the basketball, beautiful footwork, going up and over 6'7" Cardoso. Just gets it inside, uses her body well to shield from shot blockers, finishes so well inside. Also her ability to step out and hit threes. I mean, there was just nothing that she couldn't do offensively in that first half.
Only Utah player with a field goal the last 14:35 of the first half was 9 of 12 from the floor. We'll play this third quarter with 3 personal fouls. We take a look at our first half stats brought to you by Discount Tire. Pili with 21, the rest of Utah with 13. South Carolina's bench an 18-0 advantage, and Chloe Kitts did a little bit of everything for the Gamecocks in that first half.
She led the team in scoring, or tied for scoring, led him in rebounds, led him in assists.
Dump down inside to Cardoso, gets it back. Pili comes with the help, and it's going to be a held ball, and the possession arrow belongs to Utah. It's one of those things where you could see Pili probably question, can I do this or not with the 3 fouls, but timed it nicely and cleanly. Here's McQueen. Vieta gets bunched with Pili for a moment. Vieta stops, flings. On the drive, Young gets denied emphatically on the interior. Here's Hall on the other end, laying it in.
You have to understand, South Carolina leads the nation in blocks per game at just under 10.
Which is on pace for a Division I record. Last year, South Carolina team has the record at 8.8. Here's Pili. The ball fake, the handle, and the finish. Alissa Pili with 23 points on 10 of 13 shooting. Kitts trying to get into Pili. Pili backs away, and Kitts takes advantage.
Really smart. You have to attack Pili on that end of the floor. See if you can pick up a 4th foul on her.
There's McQueen around the double screen. Pili out to grab it. Deja Young using the Pili screen, pedals through and cups it in around Cardoso. Deja Young's second field goal of the game. Pili has 23, no other Utah player with more than 5 points. And Holly tell you about Gianna Neepkins, who is out for the season, who was their second leading scorer, injured on December 2nd.
Neepkins, their best perimeter player, shooting 54% from the 3-point line. Like the rest of her teammates, could really attack the rim as well. That is a huge loss for Utah.
And Lynn Roberts said there was a grieving process her team had to go through as Cardoso picks up her 3rd offensive foul, and that is the 5th offensive foul that Jenna Johnson has drawn in this game.
I mean, she's just been willing to give up her body, and Cardoso, a little bit of a lean of the shoulder, and Johnson certainly sells it.
Here's Young. Into the corner, McQueen down low, Johnson couldn't handle, possession still alive. Young on the cut, lost it out of bounds. Had gotten inside of Hall, but dropped it out of bounds, and Utah turns it over for a 9th time.
Seen that a couple times, couple missed layups, couple turnovers as the ball has gone through a Utah player's hands under the rim.
7 points, South Carolina lead. This is the 4th game this season South Carolina's had against a top 25 team. Cardoso finishes on the delivery from Johnson.
Really intentional that time. South Carolina running a box overload to get Cardoso the clean look.
Those games against Notre Dame, Maryland, and UNC as Pili misfires from 3. Offensive rebound, Vieta. Notre Dame and Maryland, South Carolina both defeated handily as Pili lays it in. UNC hung for a while against South Carolina in that other game against the top 25 team.
South Carolina has used 4 different defenders in this game on Alissa Pili, and she has been able to score on all 4.
Pili comes over the steal, miscommunication there. Pow and Kits. Here's Vieta. Dancing through, sets up Young for the lay. And now a steal on the other end, no. Young could not quite hold on to it. And Dawn Staley trying to make sure her team does a little better job protecting the basketball.
Alissa Pili runs the floor so well. Look at her like a point guard, head up, delivering it to teammate.
Another turnover from South Carolina off the inbound. Vieta. Pili massages her way in for the finish plus the foul. Alissa Pili is putting on a show.
At 6'2", she still uniquely has a little bit of a lower center of gravity. She always keeps her balance with her strength. Wide base goes one way, finishes back the other.
Looked like there was a lot there from Kits, but Pili gets the whistle. And how about Pili? She has 27 points on 12 of 16 shooting, make it 28.
You know, when you ask her, how is she going to do at the next level? Well, there's multiple players on this floor for South Carolina that at some point will be playing at the next level, and Pili has done just fine.
Rebecca, I was just thinking the same thing. If you want to try and approximate a test at the collegiate level, there's no better program you could go against than South Carolina. As Ross gets called for the foul, trying to hang with Cardoso. Pili on the bench, getting a breather for the moment. Holly talked about all the different personnel from WNBA teams in the building for this game. You got to imagine that this performance from Pili is getting in their minds at least a little bit.
Yeah, without question.
Pow misfires on a 3. Young the rebound. Vieta. Off to Ross. Ross on the handoff, going to be a foul called against Ross. And Lynn Roberts is confused, saying, wait, at least Ross just had the basketball. That's the second foul on the freshman. See quite a few touch fouls each way in this game as Johnson doesn't get the roll. And a whistle underneath is going to go against Utah. That's going to be on Ross. That will be her 3rd foul in 5 minutes of action. There's Ross, an impressive freshman for Utah. And everybody on this Utes team going to step into a bigger role with the injury to Neepkins. Pow in the corner. Connects on a 3.
Just floats back out to the three-point line in the left corner. Got her feet set quickly to get that one off.
Pow has hit multiple 3s in every game this season now. Ross attacks the closeout in the paint, dishes out. Young on the drive, swoops through, couldn't finish it. That was a nice move from Deja Young, but unable to complete it. Here's Hall on an open 3. Back iron, no. It springs a break for Vieta. Running with 2 to her left. And throws it. Wow, that was a nice job by McQueen to keep that in bounds. Young cashes in on the 3. That's the second time today we've seen McQueen make a great touch pass to salvage a possession, and it turned into an assist. Johnson short, rebound Vieta. Vieta finds McQueen, her 3. Back iron, no, would have put Utah back in front. They trailed by 11 at the end of 1. Had whittled it to 1 late in the second, then trailed by 7 at the half. Fulwiley getting ready to check in for South Carolina. Cardoso sheds Johnson and lays it in. Johnson's already forced 3 offensive fouls on Cardoso, but could not get a whistle there. Cardoso 5 of 5 from the floor. And that's going to be a foul on Raven Johnson. Timeout on the floor. Tight game in Connecticut. South Carolina leading Utah by 4.
What a well-played game. Both teams shooting well from the perimeter. Te-Hina Pow finds herself in the left corner, draining a 3, and then Young stepping into this one. What an exciting game. 4 points with 3.5 to go in the third.
The WNBA Draft Lottery coming up, 4:30 Eastern here on ESPN. Here are the lottery odds. The Fever at 44%, the Mercury at 28%, the Sparks at 18%, and the Storm at 10%. Of course, there's a lot of talent that could come in, could stay. At the top of that class is Caitlin Clark. To change a franchise's future forever.
And that's not overstating it.
No.
Well, the forever part.
3 to shoot. McQueen might have to. McQueen hoists. Got it on the rim and on the putback. It's good. Reese Ross sneaking in to lay it home. A 2-point South Carolina lead. Pili back into the game for Utah, navigating with 3 fouls. She got all of them in the first half. Pili has scored 28 points. Here's Kids bodying in. Pili held her ground. Going to stay here as Pili made sure to avoid fouling there on the attack from Kitts.
I thought Kitts should have taken the shot when she first got it, and Pili gets there. I think that's good, solid defense, although it was probably the similar contact we saw from Kitts the other end a few possessions ago.
Fulwiley throws it away. Watkins is just an incredible athlete, able to recover and save the possession for South Carolina. Watkins runner, back iron no, gets it back, flings it out. Fulwiley. 3 of 3 from 3 today. Fulwiley jitters, shakes, and finishes. Malaysia Fulwiley added to the reel. The 8 on the other end gets denied by Fulwiley. Flings it out. That 3 is short from Wilkie, and the rebound ends up with Watkins. Here's Fulwiley, dangerous in transition, the hesitation, can't finish it, but Watkins soars in for the tip.
Remember, Ashlyn Watkins last season had a dunk in a game for South Carolina. Certainly can play above the rim.
56-50, South Carolina in front of Utah. Pili putting it on the deck, bodies in, gets denied by Cardoso. Probably the best defensive stand we've seen from Cardoso today against Pili.
I mean, Fulwiley has the ball on a string and just uses her shoulder to get by and finish. And then defensively, an elite athlete who gets up and gets the block as well.
Dawn Staley, before the start of the season, called Fulwiley a generational player. Has talked about having to keep her confidence up whenever she makes a mistake, reminding her of that. And that is going the other way. And that foul is going to be on Madison Wilkie. And then Roberts a bit confused. Second foul on Wilkie.
I think that's even worse than a mid-range jumper.
Yeah, I'd say you're right.
Yeah.
They blow the horn on offensive fouls at practice too?
I think so.
By the way, Utah has not taken a single mid-range jumper today. Kept to their paint and 3 philosophy. Fulwiley whirls, lobs, Cardoso can't finish, Watkins can. Ashlyn Watkins making a huge impact in this third. South Carolina lead back to 8. They've scored 6 straight points. Pili gets a good look and knocks it down. Alissa Pili with 31 points, matching a season high. She is 2 away from her career high. Cardoso gets inside, and Pili just not a good decision there as she dove down and whacked the wrist of Cardoso, picking up an obvious 4.
Yeah, you got to just let that one go. You can take this if you have 1 or 2 fouls, but that's so obvious, and the benefit is not worth it.
Wow, I think they called that foul on Johnson instead. Pili is very fortunate. They give that foul to Johnson, and it is her third. Boy, Utah is very fortunate because Pili came in and smoked the wrist of Cardoso.
Maybe she got fouled by both. Let's see here. Johnson barely got her. Man, Pili really got her.
Wow. Utah very fortunate there as Cardoso hits both free throws. She shot it at 64% on the line of the season. See Sanaya Fagan in. She picked up 3 fouls in that first half. Cardoso will check out. 7-point South Carolina lead, 1:10 to go in the third. Vieta. Pili goes to the bench for Utah. On the drive, the layup is good from McQueen. Kennedy McQueen sneaking it in around Raven Johnson. Fulwiley. And a whistle underneath against Deja Young, who had backed Sanaya Fagan underneath the hoop. That is the third foul on Young. And South Carolina in the bonus, which means free throws here for Fagan. Foul also happened early enough that South Carolina ends up with a 2-for-1. And Fagan knocks down the first.
I really like this particular unit for South Carolina. We saw them make a push in the first half. They've done a nice job here in the third quarter as well.
Wow, dangerous place to put the ball on the floor, and it's taken away. Watkins on the other end gets fouled, but Madison Wilkie just putting the ball down amongst 3 South Carolina defenders after the rebound, and could not do that. When Watkins will go back to the line. She's been terrific the last few minutes of this third quarter.
I really like Watkins' game and her upside. I mean, she's got the body of a pro. She's got the 6'8" wingspan. Great athlete. The game continues to improve.
Won the dunk contest at the McDonald's All-American game a couple years ago. Sophomore forward. 3-second difference game and shot clock. 7-point South Carolina lead. They've got great play from their bench today. Vieta veers into the paint, lays it in, plus the foul. And Vieta with a chance for 3.
We've seen Vieta get dribble penetration frequently, and this time she's able to not only finish, but finish with contact. Felt like a possession where Utah really needed a score as well.
5 points, 6 rebounds, 5 assists for Vieta. As you're going to say, Nene So check in for Utah. 6'8" junior center. Vieta misses the free throw. Fulwiley has it with time. Fulwiley zipping between defenders, has it poked from behind into the arms of Utah. And that'll do it for the third quarter. 5-point game headed to the fourth. Holly Rowe chats with Dawn Staley when we come back. Should be a fun fourth in Uncasville.
Well, Coach, you had to withstand some foul trouble in the first half to Kamilla Cardoso. How has this post depth really shown up for you today?
Yeah, that's what we're about. That's what we're about. We got a lot of them sitting over here, so we're gonna make their time useful. Pili's doing a great job of just creating mismatches. She's a tough guard for us, but luckily we do have post depth.
I was just going to ask you, how do you change your defense on Pili? She's just getting so many looks.
Smart. She's smart. We just got to – I'm trying to get us to free our feet and not let her get to our bodies, because once she gets to your body, it's over. We just got to win the game at this point. We got to outscore them at this point because we cannot stop her.
Thank you, Coach.
Thanks, Holly.
Well, the ultimate respect there from Dawn Staley for Alissa Pili, who has 31 points in 19 minutes, managed to go through that third without picking up her fourth foul, and is 13 of 18 from the floor. Lynn Roberts is going to like the shot chart from her team. They have not taken a single mid-range attempt. Here's Watkins lobbing it in, and that is going the other way. Foul called against South Carolina.
That's on the screen, and part of that is Cardoso went a little too early, and so the screener, I think it was Johnson, was still moving.
Second foul on Johnson. This game has had a bevy of offensive foul calls both ways.
Second foul, Johnson, first team foul.
There's Ross playing with 3. And yeah, just like we said, that's going to be number 4 on Reese Ross. The freshman has picked up those 4 fouls in 9 minutes of action.
One of the real differences for South Carolina in the third quarter was their ability to get to the offensive glass, which we've seen them make their living on the last few years. In the first half, they had 8 second chance points. In the third quarter alone, they had 9.
South Carolina plus 10 on the glass overall. And Utah is one of the better rebounding teams in the nation.
Should ask her hoop stats. What's the most offensive fouls that have been called in a game this season?
Hey, Wednesday over on the SEC Network and on ESPN as well, we'll have the exclusive reveal of next year's SEC football schedule at 7 Eastern, 6 Central. A complete breakdown of each school and the top matchups for 2024. Looking forward to that. Pili flings it out. Johnson. 15 to shoot. Vieira zips inside. Probes. Vieira. Out to Johnson. 6 to shoot. Johnson turns it over. Pow on the steal. That was a possession where maybe the only thing available was something in the mid-range. You could see the way Utah is just completely averse to any shots not in the paint or from 3.
They don't want to hear the horn.
Yeah. Pow. In and out on a 3, and Pili the rebound. Here's Vieira. Into the paint. Vieira can't lay it in. That's happened several times in this game. Vieira's had a wide open layup. Hall on the other end can't finish.
Really smart, though, by Pili to not put herself anywhere near where she could get the foul called.
Hall now 1 of 6 from the floor. Both teams have shot it well today. South Carolina 52%, Utah 48%, which is so hard to do against this South Carolina defense, which has held opponents under 30% from the floor to begin this season. McQueen gives it up. Pili into the paint. Wow, nice job by Cardoso. Coming up with the steal and the shot clock violation.
You'd like to see Pili get a touch, though, earlier in the possession, not just at the end where she's trying to create with the shot clock going down, but you heard Dawn Staley say it. Do not let her get into your body. Leave space. Cardoso does a really nice job of that there.
A great shot of that space being created by Cardoso there to give her a chance defensively. Johnson off to Pow. Pow behind the back. That is smooth.
Dawn Staley's not blowing any horn on that one. She's okay with Pow taking that shot.
10 points for Pow. But Dawn Staley said before the start of the season, I think we needed her and she needed us. Pili off the mark on a 3. Rebound flag down by McQueen, but it springs Bree Hall. Poke from behind and taken. Madison Wilkie, a heads-up steal. Vieira lobs it down. Gorgeous pass. And the reverse finish from Johnson. Timeout taken by Utah.
Utah continues to fight and stay strong against the #1 ranked team in the country. Up over the head, okay.
Listening into that last Lynn Roberts timeout, she said, we can win this game. We have got to continue to be aggressive. She said, we've got to make good decisions and make sure that we can attack and finish it.
All right, Holly, we'll see if Utah can finish down 5, 6:30 to go. Cardoso pivots inside and finishes. 15 points on 6 of 7 from the floor. Oh, Pili gets free, lays it in. That's another beautiful delivery from Vieta.
Yes, just perfectly delivered.
33 points for Pili. She's matched her career high against an incredible defensive team in South Carolina. Cardoso deep position. Pili comes. Cardoso can't finish. Loose ball taken by Young. Looked like Pili was trying for a tie-up again. Couldn't get that, but Utah did get the stop. 5-point South Carolina lead. The Gamecocks undefeated, #1 team in the nation. McQueen working behind Pili. McQueen on the drive. Pizza pies it home. It's a one-possession game.
UConn plays in the next game. A lot of fans have filled in here and shockingly rooting for Utah.
Johnson, that's not going to count. An offensive foul on Watkins. That is the 21st South Carolina turnover, a season high, and it's the 3rd foul on Watkins.
Watkins is resetting the screen. Yeah, she rolls too quickly. She would have had the same result if she had just held the original screen.
And if you roll too quickly today, these officials are going to see it.
Yes, they are.
We've had a remarkable amount of offensive fouls. Young, off to Johnson. McQueen, the hesitation, gets denied by Watkins. What a rejection from Ashlyn Watkins.
Utah has cut this to a 3-point game, and it certainly helps when you have your big Alissa Pili, who can move like this. Ball delivered perfectly. Finish, buckle up.
Outstanding game between #1 South Carolina, #11 Utah. 3-point Gamecock lead under 5 minutes to go in the 4th quarter. Alissa Pili has scored 33 points today.
Remember, we're on the floor. I mean, what do you do with her? You have to respect the fact that she is capable, very capable, out from the 3-point line. And here, just dances her way to the basket, uses her frame to score over a 6'7" defender. And you know, we've been talking about her as a pro prospect. Of course, we've got the WNBA draft lottery coming up after this game. This young woman is certainly a first-round talent, and I will be surprised if in the next mock draft Mike Volpel does not have Pili in that 1st round.
Pili has been incredible to begin this season for Utah as she throws it into the backcourt, and that is going to be a turnover from Utah. Hey, coming up at 5 Eastern after the WNBA draft lottery, the 2nd game of our doubleheader. Paige Beckers, 17th ranked UConn, taking on Deja Kelly, #24 UNC. UConn 37-1 all time at Mohegan Sun Arena. Their only loss to Louisville back in December of 2021. Here's Pow Pow. She'll fire and hit. Ice in her veins, Te-Hina Pow Pow.
What an absolute difference maker she has been for South Carolina this year, providing that dead-eye shot, especially in the bigger moments.
McQueen kicks. Young can't knock it down. Pow Pow the rebound. Pow Pow pushing pace for South Carolina. Cardoso off to Kitts. Trying to work that high-low, wasn't there. Here's Hall. Under 4 minutes to go in the 4th. Cardoso dumps it down. Kitts looking for position. Back to Cardoso, can't bank it in. Pili has navigated with just 3 personals after she picked them all up in the first half. South Carolina bench wanted a 4th there on her contest of Cardoso. Here's Pili, thought about taking, instead will drive it. Pili spins, fades, and banks it home. 35 points, a new career high for rapidly rising draft prospect Alissa Pili.
I don't know how you guard her with just one player because she has been able to score over any size defender here today.
Pow, not that time. Vieta, diminutive, but Johnson knocks it out of bounds. Utah basketball.
Te-Hina Pow, 3 of 7 from 3 here today. Steps into it confidently, cannot go under a screen with her. And then here, Pili never feels sped up, never feels rattled. It's just like, all right, at what point is one of my moves gonna work on you?
4-point game. Young pedaling into the paint. Young flips it in. It is a 2-point game. Remember, Utah was on the brink of eliminating LSU in the Sweet 16, but missed key free throws down the stretch. And of course, we know the rest of the tournament story for LSU, the eventual national champs. Here's Hall, lays it in, plus the foul. Young fouls Hall on the floor, and Hall completes.
Coming off the Cardoso screen, and she gets around, a little bit of body. Puts her at the free throw line.
4th foul on Young, and Hall a chance for 3. Utah seeking its first ever win against an AP #1 opponent, and South Carolina has won 42 straight games as an AP #1 against teams that are outside the top 10. This is their 4th game this season against a top 25 team. They are 3-0 in the previous 3, undefeated to begin this season. Lead is 5 for South Carolina. The little flip from Wilkie, could not finish it, and Pow the rebound. Maybe a little too ambitious there for Madison Wilkie with a lot of shot clock left. Probably want to make sure you get Pili a touch. Pow has just such a poise about her in these moments. The runner, you bet! Te-Hina Pow delivering down the stretch for South Carolina.
Read that beautifully. She did not have the space to take the 3, but certainly did to take the mid-range. Pili into the lane, gets fouled, and Alissa Pili is going to shoot 2. Just watch Pow savvy. She comes off, doesn't quite have the space for the 3, but the drop coverage, okay, gets right in and hits the floater. She has made some really nice decisions, in particular here in the 4th quarter.
So interesting hearing from South Carolina players even before the first game of the season in Paris, talking with them about the need for a leader with the graduating class of last year and wondering who it would be, and how Pow instantly became that, so they didn't have to wonder long. And you could just see it in the way she operates late in games. Meanwhile, Pili trying to do everything she can for Utah, up to 36 points. And now 37. A career high for Pili, a season high for Pow. 5-point South Carolina lead. And a turnover from Johnson. And Vieta gets fouled by Pow. Fourth team foul in this 4th quarter against South Carolina. Here's Vieta. Off to Pili. Pili pedals, kicks, the 3, no good from Johnson, secured by Cardoso. 1 minute to play. Pow, dangerous behind the back dribble, but draws the foul. Just the 3rd foul on Utah. So side out of bounds here for South Carolina. No surprise, but the 37, Pili has scored the most points scored against South Carolina this season. Johnson letting some clock wind. Shot clock at 7, and Johnson traveled. Dawn Staley knew it. As a point guard herself, looking at it, she saw Johnson take that step and just dropped her head. So South Carolina turns it over for a 23rd time. And the door is open for Utah with 40 seconds to go in the fourth. Utah basketball down 5, but Te-Hina Paupau's had a really big second half.
Hey, this is a player who comes in with a lot of veteran experience and just stepping in, taking the right shots, making the shots that she's taking, and whether it's been from 3 or the pull-up off ball screens or in the open floor, she has just made the right moves, made the right shots. And it's interesting because when we talked to her before their season opener in Paris, I asked her, did you watch the semifinal loss last year, South Carolina to Iowa? And she said, yes. I said, and what were you thinking? She said, I was thinking they could really use some three-point shooting, and I can certainly bring that to them. And she has all season, including today.
11th in the nation, over 50% from 3. She has 10 points in the second half. Meanwhile, Utah basketball down just 5 with 40 seconds to go.
You will look for them to see if they can get some dribble penetration, but you know they're only going to take it if it's a layup or kick it out for if it's a 3.
Vieta will inbound. Wilkie, Johnson, Pili, and McQueen, the others on the floor for Utah here. Vieta bounces in. Wilkie gets it to Pili. Pili, good position. Gets called for the travel. Cardoso able to recover enough, as was Watkins, and Utah turns it over for a 17th time themselves. South Carolina basketball with 34 seconds to go.
Utah ran a set to get the ball into Pili, have her go to work. Cardoso's right there. Watkins comes in from the opposite side.
You see the timeouts remaining. Utah in the bonus. They have 1 foul to give. They're probably going to try and give it quickly, go for a steal, and then they're going to want to put South Carolina at the line. And what's on the line in this game? Well, Utah seeking its first win against an AP #1 opponent ever. Meanwhile, South Carolina has won 42 straight games as an AP #1 against teams outside the top 10. I think what's been so impressive about South Carolina to begin this season, Rebecca, is how quickly they have developed a synergy playing a completely different style with a different group than the long tenured team that we saw last season.
Completely different style, more fast-paced, better three-point shooters, better assisters.
Foul here, and Utah had one to give. Johnson picks up her 4th. Pili, they pulled out. Now they will, or will they pull her in? No, they're going to wait, because they're going to have to foul one more time. Pili has 3 personals. Picked them all up in the first half. That's who you want to foul. And Johnson does. She hesitated for a moment, knowing it would be her 5th. But Cardoso will go to the line, 64% on the season.
And I understand how important clock is, but I still wish players would at least attempt to get the tie up first. Especially when you have the possession arrow.
Yeah. So Johnson out. Janet Johnson did a lot of winning things in this game, most notably all the offensive fouls that she drew.
She's going to need an ice bath. She battled for much of the game with Kamilla Cardoso. Tell you what, one thing we've seen over the years with South Carolina, not only are they great offensive rebounders, they're great offensive rebounders on the free throw line. Utah's got to make sure to box out here.
We've seen that already today. On a putback from Sakima Walker at the end of the first half. Here's Cardoso, 3 of 3 today, and now 4 of 4. So Cardoso has hit her free throws. Utah just 1 timeout remaining. Cardoso hits them both. And Utah is going to take its final timeout. 76-69. South Carolina in front with 31 seconds remaining in this fourth. A reminder that coming up next, it's the WNBA Draft Lottery. Seattle, Phoenix, Indiana, LA, all vying for that #1 pick.
Well, here's a situation where I certainly expect Utah to look for a three if they can get a clean look relatively quickly. Out of timeout, so they can no longer advance the basketball.
We know all day long, Utah has not taken a single mid-range shot.
Not a single one.
Not one.
And look at that shot chart.
And there's a little area just outside the paint that Coach Roberts is cool with. And then you get beyond that, what she determines as a long two, and that is where it's no longer cool, and you will get the air horn.
Yeah, only okay with long twos if it's end of shot clock.
Right. See what they draw up here.
All 5 on the floor, capable three-point shooters.
Into Vieta, down 7. Vieta on the drive, flips it, catch, fire, no. On the 3 from McQueen, Hall dashing ahead, lays it in, and that should do it for South Carolina. A 9-point lead. Pili can't hit the 3. Long rebound, Young. Back to Pili. Pili gives it up. McQueen blocked. And South Carolina survives a tough test from Utah. 78-69 the final as the Gamecocks remain undefeated. And you could see Dawn Staley in the handshake line saying, keep going. I certainly have to believe South Carolina, who already came in with high thoughts about Utah, certainly respects them even more after this contest.
This was a tough test for South Carolina, and one they certainly passed. They used their depth, they used their toughness, in particular in that third quarter where they got all over the offensive glass. They did enough, but Utah certainly did not make it easy for them. This is a Utah team down 2 starters because of injury. Really fun team to watch.
Big performance from Te-Hina Paopao, who is with Holly.
Well, Te-Hina, in a game that went right down to the wire, your leadership was on display today. How are you stepping up and making your feeling known with this team, even though it's your first year here?
The trust of my teammates and my coaches. I love them for that. So having them be able to trust me during those important moments, just grateful to have.
You played in the Pac-12 for Oregon. You know this Utah team well. How hard was this today?
Man, it was so hard. Our main goal was to stop Pili, but she gave us a 30-piece. But we shut down the shooters and had one play at one time.
I know you guys are a work in progress, but the #1 team in the country. How do you keep getting better, game in and game out?
You just got to have the mentality that you got to get better every day, and just have each other's backs and just come ready and execute what the coaches have.
Thank you so much.
Yes,
Terrific job.
you.
Well, Te-Hina Paopao mentioned shutting down the other shooters outside of Alissa Pili for South Carolina. They certainly did that, Rebecca. This is a team in Utah that not only shot volume, but percentage, 44% from 3 on the season, and today held to 5 of 20 from 3.
Yeah, South Carolina wanted to run them off the line. They were relatively effective doing that. And on the offensive end, South Carolina continued to be incredibly efficient. 55% from the field. They made threes in important moments. Their bench came in and was really good. Once again, we've seen South Carolina prove why they're the #1 team in the country. They have so many weapons.
I would think both of these teams walk away from this game with some positive thoughts about themselves.
Yeah, without question. Without question. I mean, you look at a Utah team, they've got one of their best players, their second leading scorer, Gianna Neepkins, who's lost for the season, down 2 starters in this game, but still able to do a lot of good things, just not enough to beat the top-seeded South Carolina team.
All right, we have one more game coming here, UNC, UConn. But before that, the draft lottery, one of the biggest in league history. If some certain stars, maybe one from Iowa, comes out. That's coming up next, the WNBA Draft Lottery for the Hall of Famers Rebecca Lobo and Holly Rowe. I'm Ryan Rucco saying goodbye for now. We're going to send things over to Andrea Carter, Carolyn Peck, and Steph White to set the table for the WNBA Draft Lottery.